Elizabeth asked, how can I raise tuition without my preschool parents revolting? So there's many times that I've wanted to raise my preschool tuition. Sometimes I want to raise it during the middle of the school year, but that's a big no-no. I loved how she said, how can I raise it without them revolting? Because she's aware that you have to be really conscious of any time you raise your preschool tuition. So what I always suggest is that once you choose your tuition for that school year, you don't change it, okay? If somebody has committed to a 9-month preschool program, you do not change it in month 5. Make sense? Of course, that would just be silly. However, it's a 9 or 10-month preschool program, and after that, you totally can change it for the next year. Now, do I recommend changing it like every single year? No. Here's my recommendations. The very first year that you do preschool, you're gonna set your prices right above where your competitors are, okay? If they are 150, you are 155 to 160. Does that make sense? Right above, okay? Not a ton, but right above. Enough to be like, wait, why is she more expensive? But like, it's not that much more, okay? But just noticeable that you're above them. That's what I did my very first year. I made sure that I was right above, about $5 to $10 more than my competitors. Now, if you've got like $300 a month, don't do 5 to 10, do something like $325 or something like that. Depends on your area how much you can charge for preschool, obviously. So what the very first thing is that very first year, you're gonna charge just a little bit more than your competitors. However, then year 2, so your second year in business, you are going to raise tuition considerably, either $10 to $15 to $20 more per class than what it was previously. And it all depends, right? If I was doing a $100 class, I'd probably only raise it by $10. If I was doing a $200 a month class, I'd probably raise it by $20, okay? Usually like a good 10% is a good factor on how high you should raise your tuition when you're raising it. So year 1, just a little bit above your competitors. Year 2, do an immediate price increase about 10%. Now, do you do that again on year 3? No, you take a break, okay? From that point on, every 2 years is when you raise you increase your tuition. I don't like to do it every year. Parents feel like, oh, this sucks. It's like a, like a lease or a, my car payment, not a car payment, I don't know. But anyways, the concept is like, people don't like when every single year something gets more expensive. Now, every 2 years, it makes sense. Inflation and the value that you've added to your preschool, right? All these things have increased over time. So they get it. They see the money that you've put back into the preschool. They see all the amazing things that their preschools, that their children are being able to enjoy. So they can see the value. Hey, let's take a quick second here. I wanted to ask you, how are you doing? I mean, it's exciting to start a preschool, but are you feeling kind of alone? Is there anyone that you have to talk to about these exciting ideas or even some of your fears or some of your questions, right? Do you have a notebook full of questions? I bet you do. How would you love to be surrounded by myself and hundreds of successful preschool owners on the same journey as you're on, starting, running, and growing your preschool? I'd like to invite you to our Preschool All-Stars. It's an exclusive membership community where that's honestly the only place that I hang out online. And we're there to support you, cheerlead you on, and answer all of your questions. Truly, you will never be alone inside of Preschool All-Stars. You'll also have access to our exclusive, extensive library of done-for-you files, step-by-step video trainings, and all of my systems. I can't wait for you to jump in. Just click the link in the description or go to preschoolallstars.com, and I can't wait for you to join us so that you'll never feel alone again. So the reason why I increase it significantly that very second year after your first year of preschool is because your first year, you're just kind of getting going. You're getting your legs under you. You probably are going to make some mistakes and you're doing your very best. But once you get your you re-enroll those students for that second time into your next upcoming school year, you've got a chunk of registration fees. And that's when you're able to take the registration fees and reinvest them in your preschool. That's what I did. My very first year of preschool, guys, I had hardly anything. I had like a picnic table and 2 benches, right? And the benches were wrapped. I had bought some padding from Walmart, and then I had wrapped them in fabric to try to make sure there were no slivers on these picnic benches, guys. They were literally wood picnic benches, and I didn't want to sand them. So I'm like, I'll just grab a bunch of padding and fabric and call it good, and I'll staple it, and it looked kind of cute because it was cute fabric, but It doesn't have to be something huge, guys, for your first year of preschool, right? Like, people are going to sign up because of your personality. And when you throw in my tips and my strategy and my preschool in a box and all the other goodness that I give you, that's also why they'll sign up, because you'll be able to get the professionalism of having, even if it's a home preschool, it'll still be professional. And so that's how I recommend how you do your increasing. But what if you currently have preschool parents in? Like, how do you raise the price? Like, how do you position that? Because this specific person who asked the question, she hadn't charged a lot for her preschool tuition for many, many years. And all of a sudden she realizes, whoa, my tuition rates are way low. I have to increase the tuition rates. But how do I do that? So she'd been doing this for quite some time and had not been charging as much as she needed to. And a lot of times that's what I find. When people find me, they're like, wait a second, I can make more than what I currently am? Oh man, I wish I found you years earlier. And she's like, but I don't want my parents to revolt because they're currently getting a great deal on tuition. And how do I increase it, right? Well, I don't suggest that you just double your prices or something for the next year. That would be really dramatic. But I definitely suggest that you need to get your money's worth from your time, right? And so the way that you do that is by increasing the value in your preschool program. Now, if you haven't followed me from day one, and maybe you even have a preschool program right now and you didn't follow me from the beginning, you've probably been doing a couple things backwards. You might only be doing strictly just preschool classes and nothing else, but I want to remind you that my whole philosophy is that you give your parents as much value as possible for free. Now, is it free or is it really just included with the cost of tuition? Because you do charge a premium price, right? I always teach my students to be the most expensive preschool in their area, to be the premium preschool, because they're adding so much value. So that when somebody sees two preschools and they're like, all right, this one costs $100 a month, this one costs $150 a month, this one is just preschool, this one is preschool and free field trips and free graduation, cap and gown and free graduation performance and a free portfolio and free school pictures and free field trips and events and just boom, 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 right? I can say the word free as many times as I want because the tuition is $150 for preschool, but they also get all this stuff for free. Now, technically, is it added into the cost of tuition? Sure, because I got to pay for that somehow, but that stuff maybe costs $10 per child, period, right? Or maybe even $20 per child, period, for the whole year, and yet you're getting an additional $50 a month for that premium package. And so if you've been not following me, you probably haven't been doing that. You probably are charging really low tuition for just only preschool classes. That is my recommendation to you, is that you add on a ton of value to your current existing preschool class. So things like free field trips. Yes, you are going to include free field trips in your preschool. Who wants to be getting $2 and $3 from your parents anyways? It's a hassle. It's not worth it. Just don't, okay? Raise your tuition and just offer free field trips. You'll thank me later, I swear. I did paid field trips for the many, many years, and as soon as I went to free, I was like, oh, I should have done this years ago. You're really just trying to increase your value by offering all of your free field trips and your free family events like Christmas parties and fall carnivals and safety expos and fun runs and whatever you want to put during your school year. You don't have to do them all the time, guys. I do recommend one event usually per month, but it doesn't have to be a field trip every month. Maybe it's a parent-teacher conference and that's your activity that month, right? Or maybe it's a Christmas party and that's your activity. So when it's registration time and you do reveal your new price, you're gonna come confidently into it because you're not just raising price just for price sake, and you're not just offering the exact same thing for a higher price. You've literally built up the value. So when you do reveal that it's $20 more or $50 more or whatever it is for the next school year, you've already got your families who love you and you want to remind them, guys, I have loved teaching your children this year, and I know that you've seen us constantly reinvesting in our preschool, and we have this and this and this, and we just added this, and we're super excited about this, and next year is going to be a great year. We're going to have free family field trips and this field trip and this Christmas party and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and we're super excited for you to come back. As you can see, we've added so much more value to our preschool that we have increased tuition, but we know that we always over-deliver, but we hope that you see that we always over-deliver with you, and this next year will not be any different. So we're excited for you to come back, and then of course your price is that much, and it's on your flyer, see stuff like that. So I use the words personally, over-deliver. I do, when I give things to people, when I serve them, when I put courses together, when I give content out for free or for paid or whatever, I make sure I literally always over deliver. As much as I can give you, I will give you, okay? So I always say, but I always over deliver, and so I know that we're gonna have a wonderful year next year. So that's how I would phrase it. Post in the comments below, how much do you charge for your preschool tuition? I charged $120 for a 2-day class, 2.5 hours, and then I charged $175 a month for a 3-day class for 2.5 hours, and of course $295 for a 5-day class, 2.5 hours. So post in the comments, how much do you charge and what is your area? Because that makes a huge differentiating factor on how much you can charge. And as always, please share and subscribe and like and all the buttons everywhere so that we can be able to get more of these videos and continue to share our message with you. Had been not charging preschool, and then she was like, oh, okay, start over again. So, okay,